For decades, humanity has been forced underground, engaged in a constant battle to reclaim the surface against the Raptures. Though many characters are shrouded in mystery, we slowly have begun to unravel the once hidden secrets in the world of NIKKE. This story has various plot points which all need resolution. Ending chapter 24, we've seemingly ended Crow's plan to take down the Ark. However, much still remains unsolved. The central government's corruption, the mystery with Rappy and Red Hood, Dorothy's vengeance against the Ark, and most of all, taking down the Heretics and eventually the Rapture Queen. Through Uni's actions in the most recent chapters, we get a little more information on the effects Vapaus has on a NIKKE. Not only does it eradicate Nymph, but it also seems to remove the inhibitor on a NIKKE's strength. Uni was able to harness her abilities and use them to an extent which would previously be impossible. It would appear that Vapaus not only heightens this power, but also may remove the limiter entirely on how strong a NIKKE can become. A NIKKE's bond with the commander is directly correlated to their strength, as we've seen in Maxwell's Bond story, and the introduction of a method to remove a theoretical cap on that power is something that could turn the tides on the war to reclaim the surface entirely. So, how exactly does this play into the Heretics? NIKKEs are originally born using the brains of female humans. These humans, if compatible, receive a body which fits closest to their ideal form. Thus, a NIKKE is created. These new NIKKEs have their own set of skills that they can use to fight in combat as time progresses. They are also implanted with Nymph. Nymph are nanomachines within a NIKKE's brain meant to control and regulate NIKKEs by the central government. Mind wipes, brain scans, and direct limitations can all be used on NIKKEs in order to keep them in line. The one thing which makes NIKKEs vulnerable is Nymph as well. From the very first chapter of NIKKE, we see a prime example of this. Corruption can occur by implanting a virus within Nymph, causing the NIKKE to lose control over themselves and their actions. In the case of Marion, we see this firsthand in Chapter 0, being one of the NIKKE's chatterbox implanted with this virus. These NIKKE are normally terminated, or die turning on their comrades. For some though, that corruption gives birth to a new life. Through a process that no one quite understands, corrupted NIKKEs are reborn into the very evil which roams the surface today. The Heretics. Just like the process to turn a human into a NIKKE, the Heretics follow a similar path. For Nihilister, it was her lust for battle that created her current form, while for Liberalio, it was her yearning for tranquility that created hers. The process holds true for all current Heretics roaming the surface today, and that also includes the Queen. All Heretics have one thing in common: they all started as corrupted NIKKE. And there is one thing that liberates these Heretics from their corruption: Vapaus. Vapaus actively eradicates Nymph from the brain, and this means, without Nymph, it is very possible the Heretics can be taken down with relative ease. Though there are instances in the past that could contradict this statement. For example, Johann unloading a magazine of Vapaus into Nihilister in Chapter 20, there is an explanation for this in Chapter 21. Vapaus is created from a special blood, which we know today only the Commander and Anderson possess in our current timeline. The level of potency can range from person to person too, and it just so happens that the Commander has some of the highest potency to date. Even Cecil was shocked at just how pure the Vapaus we created was. It could be entirely possible that it was only through the Commander's Vapaus that Uni was able to unlock her full potential, considering Matisse was saved with Vapaus that we previously found on the surface. Actually, we have an example of how direct contact with the Commander's blood affects a Heretic. During the fight with Modernia, when she entirely reverted back to Marion, though at first we thought that this was some sort of anomaly, we now know is due to the Commander's potency with his blood. Modernia stabbed him through the stomach with her tentacle, coming into direct contact with his blood, and yes, that direct contact alone was enough to nearly entirely revert Marion back. The Commander is the key to putting a stop to decades-old battles on the surface. However, he is racing against time. Cecil warns us to not let the public know about our special blood, and medical records are all wiped in the Ark too regarding anything to do with us. If anyone finds out, it is likely possible we will see the commander captured and subjected to mass production of Vapaus. Another scary thing to think about is the fact that Red Hood's current heightened abilities could be due to Rappy not possessing them either. It makes much more sense to see someone that strong if their inhibitors were removed long ago. Rappy's bond with the commander is also very close, which would explain her sudden spike in power. Through Vapaus, I personally think that we can take down the Heretics and make our way to the Queen. However, once we reach her, what do we do from there? We know finding Lilith's body is a key item to defeating the Rapture Queen, but will it be enough to end the war on the surface for good? And even if that goal is achieved, will the central government want everyone to leave? It's obvious that the Raptures were created by mankind at some point in the past, and they were a mistake that they are trying to eradicate. My question is, once this battle is over, and once the dust finally settles, what will our next mission be? Will the Ark really be fine with sending everyone back to the surface, away from their watchful eye and control? Or will the Ark be the final antagonist that this story must overcome? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Jane.